morning, Nystrom, and happy Thursday to you. I hope you're having a great week of distance learning. Wanted to take a little bit of a shift in morning announcements today. We've talked about some light and fun things like time change and St. Patrick's Day, and talk about something a little bit more serious. All year long through morning announcements, we've tried to provide a space to learn about what's going on and hopefully then have some follow-up conversations in your class. And today is another day that I think it is a good idea to learn about not only the history, but what's going on in our country right now. So, before we talk about what's going on now, let's take a step back and talk about what happened in the 1940s. Way back, like 80 years ago. So what happened then, our country was in World War II, and our government made a decision that was really discriminatory and racist towards Asian Americans, specifically Japanese Americans. What happened then was what we call internment. And so Japanese Americans, many of which were living in California, were taken out of their homes and brought to what they called internment camps. So let's take a moment and learn a little bit about the internment camps of World War II.
That stereotype of Asian Americans as the enemy was all too real for George Takei from his very youngest days growing up in Los Angeles.
I remember that morning, and in fact I can never forget that morning. It was a terrifying morning. I was in the living room looking out the front window, and I saw two soldiers come marching up our driveway, and I saw at the end of their rifles shiny bayonets. They stomped up to our front door at our two-bedroom home on Garnet Street in Los Angeles and banged on the front door. It was terrifying. My father answered and we were ordered out of our home.
George Takei's family had committed no crime. Along with thousands of other law-abiding Japanese Americans, they were taken from their home in California in 1942 and forced to relocate to an internment camp. The reason was this. On December 7, 1941, Japan bombed the U.S. Navy base at Pearl Harbor. Overnight, America was at war with Japan, and the U.S. government became suspicious of anyone of Japanese heritage. As a group, these U.S. citizens were labeled by their government as enemy non-aliens.
What's a non-alien? That's a citizen. They couldn't even call us citizens then. We were enemy non-aliens. Why? Because of this. We were taken to the horse stables. And thinking back now, I can't imagine how degrading and humiliating it must have been for my parents to take their three children, one a baby, from a two-bedroom home and told to sleep in that narrow, smelly horse stall. I remember the barbed wire fences and the sentry tower, the searchlight that followed me when I made the night runs from our barrack to the latrine. It was a racist act, pure and simple, and it was an unconstitutional act. I mean, you can't imprison people for their race, and that's what we were imprisoned for.
As you can see, we as a country made some really poor decisions a long time ago, and as a result of those racist decisions, had a huge impact on the lives of families, of children, and a lot of Asian Americans living in California and the United States. And that's not okay. And you may be asking, what does this have to do with what's going on right now? And that is a great question. Two things. First, it's important that we learn about our history so that we don't repeat the same mistakes we made. The more we know about what happened in 1940, the more we can do to avoid making those same mistakes moving forward. And right now in our country, we are seeing a huge increase in discrimination and violence against Asian Americans. And that is not okay. So you may be wondering, well, why is there this increase? If you go back over a year ago, COVID-19 first emerged in China. And so many people unfairly blame Chinese Americans and China as a country for what happened in the spread of COVID-19. Totally not fair. It is not their fault. It just happened to be where it started. And so what's happened since then in the past year is that people continue to blame Asian Americans for the spread of COVID-19 and act out in very racist and violent ways. Horrible and very scary. So, what can we do about this? Again, another great and very challenging question. The first thing we can do is learn more about what's going on. Make sure we are not ignoring these things that happen. The second thing we can do is speak up. If we hear somebody saying something that is racist, that is derogatory towards Asian Americans, speak up. Make sure your voice is heard. And that can be really challenging. That can be challenging as an adult, let alone a kid. But it's really important that we stop this violence and these actions from being taken. The third thing we can do is make sure we are being supportive of Asian Americans in our community. Whether that's a family member, whether that is a friend, or just somebody that is somewhere within your community, make sure you are being supportive of them. Listen to them, check in with them, make sure they're okay. Because this is a really hard and scary time to be an Asian American in our country. So that is a lot to chew on and a lot for this morning's announcements. But I do think it's important that we as a community learn about what's going on and are also okay talking about it. So I would encourage you in your class to ask questions if you want to learn more and have some conversations. These are really important things that we are all talking about. All right, kind of a rough transition from a very serious topic like that to riddles, but I know you want to know who got yesterday's riddle correct. So yesterday's riddle was, why do frogs like St. Patrick's Day? And the answer is because they're green. Get it? So the winners were Miss Sims, Miss B, Miss Schultz, Mr. Z, Miss Robinson, Miss Massa, Miss Pierce, Miss Fairweather, Mr. LaFleur, Miss Ibilola, Miss Barba, and Miss Jane. Now let's look at Thursday's riddle. What is more useful when it is broken? Let me know your thoughts, and we will share those Friday morning.
Hey, good morning, Heart Heroes. We are starting on our hero's journey this morning, and our first step in our journey towards healthier hearts and healthier habits is to replace those sugary beverages with water. So we're talking about soda, juice with added sugars, and even sometimes straight up fruit juice. Because what happens when you drink the juice from the fruit is you're getting all the sugar with none of the benefits of the fiber or the chewy stuff. And when you do that, it actually causes an insulin spike in your body, and it creates stress on your heart. So it's better to eat fruit whole, or to puree it, to actually mix it in a blender and make something more like a smoothie, or to cut it up and to squeeze it into your water. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a lemon, or if you would rather do a lime or an orange, some sort of citrus fruit, and we're gonna cut slices into it. We're gonna add some of that juice to our water to make it more flavorful and exciting. So we're going to first start by slicing up our fruit. So you can see I've got some slices here. And if you are doing this without an adult's help, please stop and ask an adult for help. I'm gonna squeeze some of that juice into the water, and I'm gonna put these slices in the water. I'm gonna add one more here. And I have a sprig of mint to add a little bit more flavor and interest to my water. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of those leaves in there. Isn't that beautiful? And here is my fruit flavored water. Now, if you are playing the Heart Healthy Bingo, you can mark off one of your boxes by saying that you drink water with fruit in it. If you don't want to add fruit to your water, you can always have something like this, which is sparkling water, and it is naturally flavored with lime. There is no sugar added to this. It's another way to get your water into your body without the added sugar. So enjoy your water today, and I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow about other heart healthy choices.
That's it for today. Remember those 4 B's. Be responsible, be respectful, be safe, and be honest. Have a great day or not. The choice is yours.